You can never touch a rim of your true potential if you don't have the ability to let things go, good or bad. If you're still hurt by something that has happened 5, 10, or 20 years ago, then you will never be able to tap into your true potential. You will always be chained to your past mistakes, miseries, and disappointments. Even your past victories and wins, you need to realize that the amazing win that you had in college has nothing to do with what you're capable of doing today. It doesn't matter that your business had a great breakthrough in year 2016, or you were killing it as a best employee with most amount of sales in year 2019. What really matters is what you're doing right this second, what you're doing today. Until you clear the space for new tomorrow by letting things go of the past, you will never have the energy to pursue new things in life. Until you let some of the negative friends and relatives, as a matter of fact, go for the condescending outlook and toxic behavior, you will never have the mental capacity to let new friends or colleagues into your inner circle. To let new ideas, beliefs, and people into your inner circle, you'll have to let old beliefs, ideas, past mistakes, and heartaches that doesn't serve you anymore go out of your mind, body, and spirit. If you're still hurt, or if you're still hung up on a person who wronged you in school or college, you would see everyone from the lenses of betrayal. Just because you were let go from a perfect job, it doesn't mean that things gonna suck bad even in the future. Your past is not equal to future. Until you let things go, you will never be able to elevate your life to the next levels of greatness, or you will never be able to accelerate your career. You cannot tap into your highest capacity when you're still carrying the burden of all the past mistakes, the feelings of shame and inadequacies. Letting things go, good or bad, is one of the hardest things that you will ever have to do to expose yourself to new opportunities in life. So, what can you do to let things go so it doesn't get in the way? Number one, accept your reality. You really need to understand the fact that something that has happened to you yesterday has already happened. The entire incident was in the past now. That's already been done, and there is nothing that you can do to reverse that. There is nothing that you can do to undo the entire fiasco. So accept that, acknowledge that, let that sink in. Now ask yourself, how does it affect your future? Is it life-threatening? Would that put you out of the business? Let's say that you got fired from the most comfortable job in the world, but does that mean that no one is ever going to offer you another job? You've gone through a bad breakup. Does it really mean that you would never be able to find your soulmate? Majority of the time, this is not about what has happened to us, but the meaning that we attach to what has happened to us. You have to consciously stop whenever you get hit by a roadblock and control the meaning that you attach. Someone who has betrayed your trust hold no power in the present moment until you give that person your power by thinking about it consistently, constantly, non-stop, and making all your present and future decisions based on what happened to you 5 years ago. Understand that that person is living inside your head, residing in your head 24/7, rent-free. You are carrying that person and the experience everywhere you go. But the moment you accept whatever that has happened to you, it immediately loses its power over you. It loses its grip over you. The moment you let things go, it doesn't control your mood or your emotions no more. You immediately feel liberated. You are still walking on this earth even after a massive loss in the business. Even though you were let go from your most comfortable job, you still have a roof above your head, food in the fridge, and savings in your bank account. Grudge and gratitude cannot live in the same house. They cannot coexist. But it all starts with accepting with all you had. This is what it is. It sucks to be in the uncomfortable situation, but it is what it is. It sucks to be single when everyone around you is getting engaged or getting married. But it is what it is. It doesn't matter how bad it is or how much it pains in the moment. You cannot let one, two, or three incidents shape your entire life. You have to make a decision to rise above all of that toxicity and negative experiences. Number two is really important. You desperately have to believe that whatever that has happened to you, doesn't matter how tragic or devastating it is, has a lesson to teach you and a purpose to serve you. Now, this is going to be a very unpopular thing to say, and I might get a lot of hate for saying this, but this has worked for me every single time I found myself in a tough spot, every time I found myself in a difficult situation. So here it goes. You have to believe in something higher than yourself. You have to believe in something greater than yourself, some higher power. You can call him whatever you want. You can call him God, you can call him universe, some cosmic power, or karma. You can call him Krishna, Allah, or Jesus. It truly doesn't matter. But you need to know that God's plans are better than your plans. He knows something that you don't. He can see well into the future, and you and I simply can't. We have our limitations. He has some information that you and I don't get an access to. He knows something and you and I don't. You might be holding a lot of grudge for your old boss for letting you go, even though you were an extremely loyal employee for all these years. But the thing that you and I don't know is until you let this current position go, you cannot get exposed to your greater opportunity. 90% of the people will leave the comfort zone until the comfort zone is completely been disrupted by some external force, be it a financial meltdown or be it some overwhelming personal challenges. For majority of the people, health only becomes a priority when they get told by the doctor that they get 6 months to live if they don't change their lifestyle, if they don't change their habits. I can now look back in time and see all my major failures and disappointments and say that they all had some kind of purpose to serve. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if it weren't for all the setbacks that I had experienced in the beginning of my career. I wouldn't have the strength if it weren't for all the weaknesses and the shortcomings that I had when I was in school and even in the college. The problem with people is they try to connect the dots looking into the future. And if they can't connect the dots, they get disappointed, they get disheartened. But as Steve Jobs said in one of his famous speeches, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. You have to believe in something greater than what you are going through right now. You have to desperately believe that dots will somehow connect in the future. You have to accept your current situation without attaching any negative meanings to it, and believe the purpose of this entire chaos will reveal itself when the time is right. One of the biggest favors that you can do to yourself is let things go that is weighing you down right this minute. You cannot run a marathon with 40 kilo of baggage behind your back. So guys, understand this. Number one, you have to accept your reality, no matter how bad or discomforting it is. Accept that wholeheartedly. Number two, believe in the fact that everything or anything that you're going through right now has a lesson to teach you and a purpose to serve you. When you live in denial and hold a grudge against whatever that has happened to you, you are actually postponing your greatest blessings. Believe that when the time is right, things are going to make sense. Have patience. Until then, let things go, which is weighing you down.